You know, Niccolò, if you actually worked instead of sitting around writing about clever little schemes, maybe you'd understand what it means to achieve something real. The light bulb didn't come from empty theories or idle daydreams. It came from blood, sweat, and failure upon failure.
Oh, is that what you tell yourself to sleep at night? Let me tell you, Thomas, there's no merit in being a workhorse. 1,000 failed attempts? That only proves you're as stubborn as you are simple. A man who lacks the sense to recognize an opportunity will waste his life tinkering in the dark, literally and metaphorically.
So I suppose you'd rather sit and wait for a lucky break, is that it? Just lounging around until the right moment falls into your lap? That's how mediocrity survives, not how greatness is made. You wouldn't know that, though.
But mediocrity is exactly what blind hard work leads to, my dear inventor. The wise man knows that chance, fortune, is a gift to those who don't waste their energy senselessly. Kings, rulers, they make their moves when the stars align, not by plodding forward with mindless repetition. And here I thought you were supposed to be a genius.
Genius doesn't rely on fate. It creates its own chances. That's the difference between someone who actually changes the world and someone who just writes about it, hoping someone else will come along and make things happen. Let me tell you, Niccolò, fortune favors those who aren't afraid to sweat for their success.
And that's where you're so tragically wrong, Thomas. Fate laughs at men like you. You're nothing but a pawn for those who understand when to act. Kings rise and fall, not because of sweat or labor, but because they know when to strike, how to manipulate, how to appear as whatever the situation requires. Tell me, how many of your brilliant inventions relied on the backing of someone smarter with money?
Money? I didn't sit around waiting for a paycheck. I earned every dollar I ever got. You wouldn't know what that's like. All you ever did was sit around, penning advice for power-hungry fools who'd rather cheat than earn a thing on their own. You're a parasite on the backs of men who do the real work.
And yet here you are, the inventor, getting insulted by someone you call a parasite. You see, that's where you misunderstand power entirely. Power uses men like you. And when your hard work no longer serves, it discards you like yesterday's news. Or do you imagine people will always remember the man who made light bulbs?
Better than some dusty book on political backstabbing. Real progress doesn't come from manipulating others, Niccolò. It comes from building, from discovering, from trying and failing and trying again. Your obsession with fortune is just an excuse for men too cowardly to fail.
Oh, but that's where you're wrong. Failure is only cowardly if it's repeated without intelligence. You'd waste years failing at the same task, while I'd succeed in weeks by knowing when to adjust my approach. Hard work alone blinds men to the obvious, which is why so many of your kind end up serving mine. And by the way, they love you for it.
Serving yours? You're the one who serves power-hungry rulers who stab each other in the back at every turn. Your genius only survives as long as some petty prince is willing to buy into your nonsense. I'll tell you this. No honest man ever needed Machiavellian tactics to achieve greatness.
Honest men don't achieve greatness. They get trampled by those who know how to use them. And don't flatter yourself by calling your work honest. Even you can't deny you've exploited men along the way, cut corners, buried rivals. Or are you suddenly sainted in your success?
I fought for everything I earned. Yes, business is cutthroat, but that doesn't mean I left things to chance. Every step forward, every breakthrough, was because I worked for it. And your so-called wisdom is nothing but smoke and mirrors, convincing idiots that luck is the only real way to win.
Well, perhaps that's why so many idiots are rich and powerful, while your fellow workhorses die penniless and unremembered. Real power comes to those who master timing, not to those who work themselves to death hoping the world notices. There's no honor in hard work if it's not backed by cunning.
Cunning? You can have it. I'd rather be a man who earns his place than some opportunistic snake who slithers into it. You're so obsessed with fortune that you've forgotten what it means to have principles.
Principles. Fancy word for the consolation prize of those who lack real results. Tell me, when you're gone, will it matter? My words live on, because they describe reality as it is, not as idealists wish it to be. And I think that makes me far more relevant than some glorified lamp maker.
Glorified lamp maker. I'll have you know, my work transformed the lives of millions. The entire modern world rests on what I built. You're just bitter because no one remembers a man who only ever whispered in the ears of tyrants.
Oh, don't worry, Thomas. My whispers will outlive your light bulbs. And as for the modern world, it's the cunning, the lucky, and the bold who continue to rule it, no matter how hard men like you try to change that.